this is an elite talent. He's a franchise player.
I mean, he's the real deal. This kid's fun to watch.
He has the skills, he has the skating ability to be able to do whatever he wants, and he can think the game better than anyone else.
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a celebrity or anything. Like, I still go to high school and stuff.
Jack Hughes in alone, scores! A breakaway marker.
He teases the D on the other team because you don't want to give him time and space, so you attract yourself to him, and he just finds that open spot and finds his open teammate.
Hughes is the most dynamic player that this draft class has to offer.
That's gonna be fun. All right, here's what we're looking forward to. June 19th, the NHL Awards, 8 o'clock Eastern out in Vegas, and then round one, June 21st at Rogers Arena in Vancouver. We will be all over that, as will our next guest, Sam Cosentino, NHL Network draft analyst, joins me now. There may or may not be some shuffling at the top of the board, so we talk about this. What impact did the World Championships have on Hughes and Kakko's positioning?
Well, you know what? I think Kakko was a guy who definitely stepped up and performed extremely well there. So did Hughes, especially in the most recent viewing. But when I look at it in its entirety, I still think that Hughes is going to be the guy that goes first. But there are a lot of teams that if they weren't New Jersey, that I'd say would still be debating the fact that Kakko could be the guy that would overlap Hughes in that regard. However, I think there's such a great fit between Hughes and New Jersey that I don't think that's going to change, and I don't think they're going to trade the pick whatsoever. But there's no doubt that Kakko gave a lot of pause for thought with his performance at the Worlds.
All right, Sam, let's look specifically at some centers in this draft and the top ones from U.S. National Developmental Program. What will each of them bring to the team that ends up drafting them?
Yeah, well, you got to start with Hughes, and the most dynamic player available in this draft class. His edge work is first class. You look at his ability to make plays at high speeds, his skating, his vision, and the ability to make those around him better. That's what a lot of teams are looking for. Does that player drive the play? Does he make those around him better? Hughes brings that to the table, no question about it. And then I talked about Alex Turcotte. Here's a guy with the NHL bloodlines, a guy whose game extends the entire length of the ice. He's good in all three zones. He's got a little bit of grit, determination, a little bit of grease to his game, yet he's highly reliable with still the offensive skills to be able to provide in that area as well. Move down to Trevor Zegras, an excellent fill-in for Hughes when he was hurt on that top line for the under-18 program. But when it comes to this young man, I think the thing you think about most is his ability to make plays. And we're seeing how important a skill that is at the National Hockey League level. Can you make plays in tight space? Can you make plays quickly? Can you give the puck up and get it back? Zegras has the ability to do all of those things. When you look at his highlight pack, he's finding guys that no one else on the ice can see. Yet his ability to anticipate the play and where his teammates are going to be is really, really top-notch. So each of those three guys brings a little bit of a different element to the fray. It starts with Hughes at the top.
Ability to make plays, what stood out there to me. All right, let's go here. WHL top-end centers. There are a bunch of them coming out. What are we looking forward to in some of them?
Well, I'm going to start with Kirby Dach of the Saskatoon Blades. Here's a guy who's a big body, who's got skill, who's got speed. So when we look at the way the playoffs have been played, and you think about St. Louis, a kind of a heavier, bigger team being able to win, I think Kirby Dach's stock rose because of that. Now, when I look at him in the entire skill set, yes, centerman, right shot, he's already got that man body. And he's a guy who takes it super seriously. I mean, this guy is as serious as a heart attack. Didn't even get onto social media until December. He did so only because of charitable reasons, not for any of the rest of the stuff that goes along with that. He's got his eye on the prize. Now, we'll switch gears a little bit. We'll talk about Dylan Cozens. The number one asset that sticks out in his game is that speed, the ability to go around the outside, to take it hard to the net, to be able to cut around defenders and use his skill set to finish. So Dylan Cozens is a guy who I think is starting to drop just a little bit. Again, it's that recency bias. His under-18s was not great. The fact that he was on a Lethbridge team that was expected to go a little further in the playoffs, that didn't happen. He was part of that. I still think you're getting a world-class person. I still think you're getting a world-class player, and I think there's going to be some value based on the recency bias and him slipping a little bit. The last guy in this class is Peyton Krebs. Everyone's going to talk about all the Achilles. Is that going to be a big issue for this guy moving forward? Is he going to drop significantly? I don't think that's going to be the case. I think he's still in that 8 to 12 range, and I think he's a guy that with all the adversity he faced this year, being a captain on a young team, consistently getting new teammates because of the trade, having to answer questions about a franchise that was in the middle of a relocation, yet still having to deal with all that and the draft year pressure, he handled it like a pro. Where he really shone to me were two events. The Hlinka Gretzky Cup in August, and then at the under-18s, where they had the opportunity to really fit into a group with his peers and play with and against better players. And I think he proved himself to be a top-notch player in those situations.
Man, Sam, you are the best. Love chatting. Can't wait to see you over the next week or so breaking all things down.
Yeah, can't wait, guys. Look forward to it.